On Thursday, March 31st, 2011, the Urban League of Northwest Indiana presented a community mayoral forum. There were 9 candidates in attendance. Because of that, I broke this video into several parts. The first part includes the 3 female candidates. The second part, which I will post tomorrow night, will include 3 of the remaining 6 men, followed the next night by the last 3, including the current mayor. If you have not either seen or heard the candidates running for mayor, it is my hope that these videos will give you some kind of idea what these candidates stand for and what you might expect from them if elected to mayor.
I love your question. Better government in Gary. That's something that we all, as citizens, as residents, as people who don't live in the community, but live in communities attached and in the same county as Gary, that's what we all strive for. We're not looking for Gary just to be a great city, but we want Gary to be the anchor of Lake County. To do that, we have to do a few things. First of all, we have to have honesty and transparency in government. We say that a lot and we hear it often. However, how do we do that? How do we become transparent in what we do here in our community? First of all, we have to have information ready for citizens. Now, I really hate to say this, but it took me a while as a city council person to be able to get an early copy of the city's budget before it came in front of the council. And because of that, because of people who have tried to get these documents, they call me, they say, Reagan, I can't get a copy of the contract with the baseball stadium, or I can't get a copy of this contract or this budget amount. And it takes me, as a council person, time to get through the red tape to get to that. We have to be able to get online like every other community in this county does and pull up the information off of our city's website. Not just budgetary items, but also city council items. We need to have full disclosure of the ordinances that go in front of the council every 2 weeks, including any attachments and any amendments. There should be all backup documents available. These are small things that I'm talking about. A clear website, a place where you can go and pay your traffic ticket online, somewhere where you can go to get all the documents that or contracts that may have been passed through the city. But because of those small things, it gives us or people outside of our communities the impression that we're holding things, that we don't want people to know what's going on here. We don't want people to see everything that passes through this administration. So what we would like to do not only is to be transparent through easy things like websites and emails and Facebook pages, but we want the mayor's office to be an open invitation, as well as the council office, as well as every other administrative office in the city of Gary. We don't want the red tape, we don't want the quid pro quos. We want to make sure that people can come in, get business done, and leave out of this community. Milwaukee is starting a program that deals with urban farms, in which they take old dilapidated buildings or even sometimes homes. They completely gut them out, they get the proper type of ventilation for them, and they grow complete farms inside of these buildings. So for instance, there may be 5 buildings on a block. One may be growing vegetables, the next fruit, and it just goes on and on. It's a wonderful idea, and they took this district of Milwaukee to do it. Now, in our planning handbook that goes to the development of the city of Gary, we have built in the urban farms and the community garden. I would just like to talk about the teachers union for a moment. As the attorney for the Gary Community School Corporation, it is my responsibility as the attorney for the board to negotiate with different unions on the board's behalf. In the past, I've done this within the Gary Community School Corporation. I've negotiated on the board's behalf with the teachers union. There was a time that the teachers union did strike, and that strike came to a successful resolution. As an attorney for any board, as we all know, your allegiance and your alliance is to that board and to your employer. However, my personal feelings for unions have always been very strong, and I continue to support them today, even down in Indianapolis as they battled against the state. Now, I just want to leave you with a few thoughts. I have been in this community my entire life, and I feel like not only have I prepared myself educationally, but I've also been prepared in the experience that I've had in this community, in this county, over the last 10 years. Not only have I acquire the knowledge through a finance degree, a master's of finance, a master's of business administration, but I also have the ability to read contracts as an attorney and make sure that those dollars are going to the correct places. Finally, I have been successfully elected in this community only 4 years ago as a council at large candidate. And in my time on the council, I've learned about very in-depth knowledge about council and budgetary issues in the city of Gary. So on May 3rd, please remember me. I'm last on the ballot, but I'm first for the city of Gary.
Besides the people of this community, of this city, we have natural resources. How would I make that conscious to industry? Industry is more than welcome to come here with a 25-year commitment to property taxes. We'll give you the real estate. You have to pay property taxes. You maintain the lake. You make sure that the beaches are clean. You give back to this community. You help with the Parks Department. I think with their efforts, our efforts, us as concerned citizens, we can bring people back here. We can have people come vacation here. And we can show industry the importance of making this the diamond in the rough. Now making it a glowing, glittering diamond where people can enjoy all 4 seasons, all the beauty of our lakeshore, all the beauty of our wind, all the beauty of our parks, and then the thriving business that's coming to follow. Citizens in my community who are concerned about these issues that I am about to list. Number 1, housing. Number 2, streets and sanitation. Number 3, public safety. Number 4, education. I can continue, but I think I'll just stop at these 4 and elaborate a little bit. Housing, first of all, no one should be put out of their home and not be told about the opportunity that they have through the Indiana Foreclosure Prevention Network, which is available in our community for people to have settlement conferences. Number 1, that is important. Number 1 continues by this. People are losing value in their property because there are no people left in this city. We have the right to compete with everyone else. May 3rd is approaching fast. All of us in this room have 50 million things going on in our heads about what are we going to do, what's going to be the outcome, and that's a lot of people's fears of whether they're going to stay in this beautiful city or they're going to go and contribute their time, their education, their money to other communities. In this city, we are its best asset. We cannot leave and allow this city to die. We must stay. We must believe in it. We must help it because it's our baby. We were born here, we were educated here, we left to college and came back here. Why? To watch it die? No, to pick it up, to pass it on to our children, to show them this is our responsibility to revive this city. We deserve equal housing. We deserve good housing. We deserve good property values. We deserve the right to have law enforcement and public safety, and they deserve to get paid. We deserve to have a leader who is not looking for money, but looking for leadership and responsibility to be a good steward to this city. Yes, any person in this position for mayor is going to inherit a big mess, but that's from generations of messes. Let's clean it up. I have the knowledge as a realtor. I have the experience as an 18-year registered tax preparer. I know contracts. I know how to save homes. I know how to make this city saleable. And on May 3rd, when you see Saba Muhammad, that's the vote that you should cast. Thank you.
There is standing room only because it really does speak to the interest of citizens in this upcoming election, which is probably one of the most seminal in the history of our community. As it relates to education, we've always talked about the fact that the mayor does not have any control over education. You don't have to control anything to influence it. Leadership requires influence. I would use my influence as mayor to address the educational challenges in our community by working with the school board And not just the Gary Community School Board, but with all of the school boards, the Calumet Township School Board, the charter school boards, as well as our two colleges, Ivy Tech Community College, Indiana University, to create a seamless educational process from K through college to train our students, our citizens, to address the new economic development that I will bring into the community, to equip them to be employed in our existing industries and our new industries. Specifically, I believe I can work with the school boards, with the superintendents to address safety in our schools and also to address new curricula in our schools. Whether we're addressing green construction and the building trades in our community, I believe that all of those will be important in creating an educational system which makes our community attractive. One of the things we have to remember is that we once had an educational system that rivaled any educational system in this country. We can return to that system if we all work together and not just say, this is my venue, this is my area. We have to work together to support each other. Each candidate has a responsibility to pick up their signs as soon as the election is over. Pure and simple. There are also ordinances which specifically address the placement of political signs, and we even, when we realized that an area that was next to our headquarters, there were lots, they weren't clean, we went out and we cleaned up those lots because we believe that everybody has a responsibility to the community. My plan relative to Emerson and the entire city has to do with an overall economic development plan. And I've actually outlined my entire vision for the city in this blueprint for rebuilding Gary. As it relates to economic development, it centers around the airport, the lakefront, and the Broadway corridor. There is already $180 million in investment underway for the airport and the lakefront. There's also an opportunity for multimodal development. Many of us don't know that 3 of the largest trucking companies in the nation are right here in Gary, Indiana. Railways, 2 of the largest railways flow right through Gary, Indiana, but they don't stop. And so my vision is to have them stop and unload them through the trucking industry. I also want to commend Mark Bellinger, William Gornick, and James Delgado Jr., 3 firefighters who risked their lives to save, or to attempt to save 2 individuals in a fire last night. And then I want to remind everyone that early voting begins April 4th, and that is the anniversary of Dr. King's death. We've talked about a lot of things tonight. We've talked about the need for innovative programs. I've done that. We started the Second Chance Drug Court, one of the first in this country. We talked about the need to enforce the zoning laws and other laws. I've done that as the city judge, as the Indiana Attorney General. We talked about the need for economic development, and I've done that through my relationships, not just in this community, not just in this region, but throughout the state of Indiana, throughout this country. And we talked about the need for a plan, for vision. I have that, and if you can't put it in writing, then you don't need to ask the people to believe what you will do. And so my question is, who has the education, who has the experience, and who has the energy to lead this community, to fly this airplane with one wing? I would submit that. And not only can I do that, but I'm willing to work with and incorporate everybody in this table and in this room and in this community to get that done. Thank you.
This is the end of part 1.